Yusuf Enriquez, founder and CEO of Indigenous AI. And really, Indigenous was created out of a necessity for myself as a father with twin daughters that have a rare eye condition called retinitis pigmentosa. And so over the last 8 years since their diagnosis, two things have been challenging. One, getting access to clinical trials for pediatric. Now they're 22. They were diagnosed in 2014. And then two, increasing that diversity of women and minorities in clinical trial has been a pain for me over the last 8 years. And I know there's plenty of other families out there. Had the opportunity at MIT Hacking Racism in Healthcare to address this. And so in 2021, Indigenous AI was formed in order to increase diversity in clinical trial. And also because of my FDA background, drive drug discovery that is intentional of increasing more more women, more minorities in its clinical trial, which is about 95% European white males. And so, again, the data for you guys in the science world, this is as dismal as it could get. It's lack of women, lack of minority, African ancestry included in these clinical trials. And so the deficiency is there. And like I said, I've seen these real numbers because I used to be a compliance officer for the Center for Devices and Center for Drugs at the FDA. And so this is something that I've been struggling with, and I have deep insights and trying to come up with some solution. And what I did is we scanned across the entire drug discovery process, which has been deemed slow and ineffective. And, essentially, we just have to create a platform that is going to do the early data collection, analysis, and research in order to drive more efficacious drugs. And we saw that play out in the vaccine. Although there was a lot of progress made, there still was less than 10 to 15% increase in diversity in those trials. And we saw that play out with some of the drugs where women were deeply affected by some of those vaccines. And so we're looking to increase our repository with blockchain in order to do some of the novel signature sequencing and signature and polygenic risk score identification using multi-omics data coupled with your electronic health record data. Here's an overview of what we're proof of concept that has won some grant funding from Johnson & Johnson, about 175K. We're gonna have to build this slowly, so we'll start from the left to the right. We'll start low-hanging fruit, genetic ancestry, using pharmacogenomics, nutrigenomics, so looking at disease risk, but build out our digital, Genius AI discovery platform and ingesting electronic health record data. Looking at disease insights from these unique population of women, minorities, and also, incorporating genomic surveillance, which is the pathogen area of starting to look at some of these disease areas that affect global continents like Africa. And then eventually, once we have a large enough data set, we can move into biomarker discovery, disease etiology, and then further commercialization of biomarkers and therapeutics. Part of dealing with minority population, we understand through the hackathon that safety and privacy of the data and trust is a big component. And so we recently, a few months ago, acquired Encryption, which was a marketplace where you could bring your 23andMe data and market it to pharma and market it to principal investigators. We saw that this was an important piece of our thesis because we know that there's hesitancy within the Black, Indigenous, people of color population. But when we did some research in the MIT hackathon, trust was big, and data and security and privacy was also something that if we were able to get over that hurdle, we had a lot of individuals that were willing and wanted to participate within these trials. And so we're planning to move within that direction, having this Indigenous platform create a federated data model where we could also be interoperable with other large data sets, federated data model like the Million Veteran Program, UK Biobank, and the All of Us program. And the unique piece of this is too, we're gonna be compensating individuals for their genetic material, not just one time, but also the duration of their sample being used in multiple queries, because we're never selling the data at Indigenous. We plan to do that in a digital format through digital health tech. We're going to have an environment where we provide high level of community curation, information specific to minority populations around certain disease, and not a scattershot. And so we plan on building that trust relationship and then moving into, aggregating individuals' family health history record, and then couple that with the genomic data. We think we'll be able to have some key insights for patients. Our team is led by Al Howard University alumni. Dr. Bradford Wilson is my co-founder. He's on the phone or on the Zoom call here. Dr. Wilson and myself and Dr. Gordon are both second company starters. Our first company, we developed a blood test for PTSD with the Department of Veteran Affairs and using Holocaust survivor samples. That company now is being looked at by the VA for a clinical decision support tool, company called Polaris Genomics. Eric Williams exited from a cybersecurity app he developed for Tata. And so he comes with high level of experience and some pharma background working for J&J. And Angel Livas rounds us out with our communications and PR and marketing. Key partnerships that have been effective for us. We've now been validated by 3 pharma companies, 1 international in Ghana. And so Johnson & Johnson have validated us with a grant funding, and we just recently got into the Merck Digital Science Studio, which further validates our thesis around digital health and bringing solutions, digital health solutions to the patient. Orem Institute is a leading research institution. We've already pledged the 2 million Africa Genome Project over the next 5 to 10 years. And we're starting off with a 500,000 South Africa Genome Project in the next couple of months. Traction to date, we've moved the needle quite fast in a 1.5-year company. Grant funding from J&J. We're now, getting a safe note from McKesson Ventures, Merck Venture, and Northpond, where we're now seeking matching from individuals. We're oversubscribed on our pre-seed round, but some of that is committed. We haven't gotten it in a bank account yet, and this provides us a unique opportunity for individuals that want to match the safe note that we're getting from Merck, which is part of that program. We just started last Thursday, and so we're going to be definitely working on a pilot project with Merck around one of the disease areas, women's health, and my daughter's retinitis pigmentosa eye condition, so that we could come up with some novel targets and move the needle on being more effective in those particular areas. That's it, and looking forward to any questions you guys may have.